Hi everybody, welcome back. We're going to be continuing on with our bookshelf family that we've been working on for the last few episodes, and kind of figuring out how we can create a schedule to get a full bill of materials off the parts and pieces that are building this the bookshelf out. I don't know what better words to use there. So we're going to start by loading this thing into a project. And placing this here, just making sure it works the way we hoped it would. So I'm going to go into 3D using this selection box, and then I'm going to start manipulating the parameters here. So let's start by changing the number of shelves to 2, and then let's change this shelf from bottom to 1'6". That all moves the way we hoped. So actually, let's do this as like 2'6" because it looks goofy. Alright, that looks better. And then we're gonna change our height to 8'6" and our width to 5 foot. So it looks like everything worked except for the array wasn't align locked to the edge of the reference plane. So we'll fix that. Bam, fixed instantly. Alright, so let's go back into our family editor then, and start figuring out how would we go about getting that information in a way that can be pulled intelligently in our project. So I guess the first thing to know is these families that are embedded into this family, for us to tap into that information and to be able to schedule these parts and pieces individually, we need those to be shared. So we're going to edit this family, and there's our 2x, and we're going to click this little yellow family and category and parameters, and we're going to make sure that this checkbox shared is checked. I'm going to load this in. Oh crap, wrong one. Undo. I'm going to load this into the bookshelf. I'm going to overwrite the existing version and its parameter values, and then I'm going to load this back into the project. So it just updated a couple things, but I'm going to show you the main difference here. So before, I would not have been able to tab into each one of these individual pieces, but now I can pull data from every part and piece that's in this family. So I'm going to go back in here then. I'm going to start to figure out how I can schedule this stuff out then. So I know that we can only schedule shared parameters. So if we go into our family types here and parameters, we need to ensure that these are shared. So I typically always set up my height, width, length, and width as shared parameters. I just in case I need to utilize it down the road, it's just a good practice that I get into. Versus family parameters, which you can use in formulas and such in your project and your I can't talk. You can use your family parameters in your family, but they can't be utilized outside of that. Okay, so we're gonna actually create one more parameter, and I'm gonna have it as a shared parameter because this is something that we would need to be utilized in our schedules. I'm gonna leave it as a type, and I'm gonna go into fabrication and then schedule type. This is something that I do a lot, and then I'm gonna call this I'm gonna call this parts list, and then I'm gonna load this back into my project, in my bookshelf, not my project. And then I'm going to load this into my project. And we're going to overwrite the shared subcomponent. Alright, so then next we're going to go under view and schedules and quantities. And we're going to go down to generic models. And then we're going to start picking the parameters that we want. So height, length, width, and then schedule type. So if I push all those, you're going to see this list. So there's a bunch that are in the parts list. So the reason we created that is we can filter out other things that we don't need. So what we see here, the 8 foot by 5 foot, that's actually the bookshelf itself. But we don't want the bookshelf itself to show up in our parts list. So we're going to filter that out. So we're going to filter by schedule type, and then we're going to have it equal our parts list. And then the last thing we're going to do is just add a count. So those are all equal 1. I'm going to actually flip-flop these. And you can see a bunch of these are the same. So if we want to get our shop a good bill of materials for all the different parts they need to cut for this particular job, we can go into our sorting and grouping, and then we can sort by height, length, width, and then we're not going to itemize every instance. So if we uncheck that, you can see that they need 4 pieces that are 4'9" and 2 pieces that are 8 foot. And then if we start to copy this thing around, you can see that schedule updates with it. And then we could do the same thing. We could schedule reverse and just have how many bookshelves do we have, what height, what width. But I think you get the basic gist here. So I think that's it for today. Stay tuned for future episodes. I may or may not continue on with this family, but thanks for joining me today. All right, bye.